Hi, I'm Betsy, and this is my helper, Ellie. We just bought a 2018 Ram Promaster 1500 cargo van. We plan to convert it to a camper van for fun getaways and adventures. Come along with us on this journey. I am trying to figure out how to make the headboard. And I am doing all sorts of experimental things to see if I make a frame around so I can upholster. Got to make sure I can go from here down to behind the 2x4. So it's going to be an interesting project, but I think what I'll do is use Rivnuts up here to hold the 1/2-inch plywood in place, and I'm going to tuck the plywood in behind here to have it support it. This is the Plusnut, and it's pre-bulbed, and the pre-bulbed is better for DIY applications because the production applications it's straight and they have machines that can pull it, but when you're trying to pull it by hand with that tool, sometimes you need a little extra help, and so the pre-bulbed flared out bit helps pull the Plusnut in. I'm going to hold up the headboard with Rivnuts, Plusnuts. So I've got a 1/4-inch 20 screwed in there and there, and then this one I still have to attach it. So what I use is the Astro Pneumatic 1450, and it has an extra long mandrel for the longer Plusnuts, and I think they sell a different tool that has a little bit shorter mandrel and it's not quite long enough. So what you do, you screw it in there, you pull the handle apart, pull it in, turn that knob right there to pull it, snug it up a bit more, and just keep squeezing it, and then it'll tighten up sort of like a molly bolt. Go ahead and spread it apart, put it in there, and screw it in. And then that nut gets close to the Plusnut. And when you feel it go snug, you just squeeze it, and that starts pulling in the little cross pieces. Do this usually 3 times, 3.5 times, and that's it. And you can feel when it's snug, but you want to check. That's snug. You want to check and make sure it's nice and snug, because the last thing you want is that thing spinning when you're putting pieces on and off. But these things are fabulous because I tend to mess things up a lot. I have to take pieces off, put them back on, and this allows me to do that. There we go. Good and snug. Got the template for the headboard. Never underestimate the importance of a template. It's easier to screw up cardboard than wood. So I've got the template drawn out, and I'll just start cutting it with the jigsaw and seeing how it works. So to line up where the Plusnuts are, I put a piece of masking tape along the top, and I marked where I need to drill the holes, and then I had a point of reference where the metal changed. I marked that on the board and on the tape, so I'll just drill the holes there. Should line up, and then I will start working on trimming this out for the window frame. And now I just brought it in here and put it in place to make sure the dry fit is okay, and checked to make sure that the 1/4-inch 20 bolts will go in to the Plusnuts. So everything is looking good so far, so now I'm just gonna keep whittling away at the window and work on that. I have the panel cut for the headboard, so now I'm going to put some padding on it and then put the upholstery over it. I'm not going to use glue. I'm just going to use staples. I just don't like working with glue. It stinks. But this is the nice thing when you upholster. That means you can just write all over your wood, and it doesn't matter. I did seal it so that it won't absorb any moisture, but I'm ready to start getting the upholstery on. The Kreg jig is the most wonderful thing in the world. I've got the super cheap kit that you take this bit, and it's got a little stop, and you put the tip in here, you set it, you take this little Allen wrench, and you move the stop to however thick the wood is. Then you drill in, and then you have these square head screws that you use to use this to get them down in this little hole. And so this thing is just amazing. So this is 1/2-inch plywood. So I am making screw holes with the Kreg jig, and the way you do it is also in the little jig. You set it to where I put it for 3/4 inch, just to make it a little thicker with the wood. And it has a little stop right there. So you line it up on the wood, you clamp it down so it's flush at the bottom, and then you just take the drill bit, that's exciting one-handed. So normally you can drill 2 holes in, but I'm just spacing them out. And then you have your little hole. So what I'm doing, this is the frame for the headboard. So I'm getting my pieces set up. And since the screws sort of go back when you screw them in, I want the screw heads this way so it'll grab into the wood. So here's one of the screws right there. I just was experimenting, so see how it's a little square head. But the Kreg jig is a fabulous tool. So what I'm doing to upholster it, so this is the back side. So you can make everything look however you want on the back side, nobody will see it. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a piece of the fabric down, putting my boards right up to the edge, holding it, screwing it down, and then just wrapping the upholstery around it. I have insulated the back of the panel. I also put in some boards held up with the Kreg screws, because if we lean against the headboard, I don't want it bending. And there's about, between here and the van, it's about 2 3/4 inch. So down here it's 2 inches because the van has the curved walls. So we've used wool for our insulation. So it's just laid in here. A few pieces I stapled just to keep them from falling out, but I'm ready for the install. The headboard is up. I'm using the hex bolts with the Plusnuts to hold up the board, and then the board is actually tucked behind this 2x4, which is the bed frame support. So that had Plusnuts also. So it looks good. We've got these beautiful blinds from Van Made Gear. They have earth magnets, so they stick on there and attach. They look very nice. Blocks out the light, helps insulate. We also have them on the back and on the side. So I'm very pleased with the way the headboard came out.
Thanks for watching. I hope this helps you with your project.